When Brooke Bailey spoke those 8 terrifying words, he locked me in that hotel room, and the entire business stopped. Jim Jones, the gym owner, flashed jewelry on red carpets. And she claims that he trapped her for hours, stole her phone, barred the door, and told her bluntly, "You're not leaving until I say so." What kind of twisted power maneuver is that? She drops verses about loyalty, that this wasn't a love and hip-hop plot. This was real, and Brooke stated, "I begged him. I thought I wasn't going to make it out," while her voice cracked and her nails were broken. Now there are rumors of leaked hallway footage. The issue is, did Jim Jones actually do this? Security personnel are being paid off, and Jim's legal team is attempting to hide everything. But Brooke isn't keeping silent any longer. She's coming for blood. And what's about to spill might destroy Jim's entire empire. Keep Brooke hostage, or is this the ultimate retribution twist that nobody anticipated? Let's dissect it, because what transpired behind that hotel door might cost someone their job and land them in jail. When Brooke Bailey eventually entered, that press room didn't have the usual gloss, no eyelashes, glam squad, or filters, just pure terror resting on her face as if she'd seen the devil. Which she may have, because, in her own words, Jim Jones acknowledged that Jim didn't only cross the line. He deleted it, and the rumors began early that morning. A blurry video that appeared online showed Brooke screaming in a high-rise hotel hallway while wearing a robe. Her hair was matted, and her voice was cracked like glass. Fans initially believed it might have been an old movie set, but Brooke shut it down after seeing her phone pleading for assistance and a man in a sweatshirt standing off to the side with his face partially obscured. That man in the chain looked a lot like Jimmy. The internet went crazy in a matter of minutes as she went live with her eyes puffy from crying and said it herself. "He locked me in there and told me I couldn't go. I believed I was going to die." In that room, people were unaware of whether the situation was genuine or a publicity hoax, until Brooke revealed that she was being held captive by Jim Jones, and that hip-hop had suddenly turned criminal. Hold on, let's go back 72 hours. Brooke Bailey and Jim Jones had a history, but it's not the kind that anyone paid attention to. There were a few encounters on the red carpet and some behind-the-scenes flirtations during VH1 tapings. And that she once appeared as a guest star on his season for about 2 episodes, but nothing significant happened. However, now insiders are claiming that the two had been having sex on the low for almost 8 months, including private dinners and flights. This isn't only about a love triangle gone bad. Brooke claims after a furious dispute in a hotel in Las Vegas over text messages from another person, but there was apparently a severe repercussions when she realized she wasn't the only one. Classic. "You're not going anywhere till I say so, let that sink in." A grown woman reports that Jim flipped the phone, got in her face, snatched her phone, and shut the beautiful door. Jim Jones has not yet responded to reports that he held a woman against her will in a hotel room. There have been no tweets or interviews, but sources close to him like assistant managers have spoken out. Barber, closest cousins claim he's in a panic after Jim allegedly called the hotel staff to ask whether the hallway cameras might be turned off for privacy. When that didn't work, guess what happened next? 2 security officers were allegedly bribed. An anonymous source inside the hotel informed the Juice that I misplaced the footage and that it wasn't me speaking. Before you dismiss it as mere rumors, explain me why the security guy was fired 24 hours later. But let's go ahead of ourselves. Brooke alleges she was trapped in that room for more than 6 hours without a phone, food, or any idea how she was going to leave. She says she attempted to flee twice when he barred the door. The second time he allegedly tossed a complete lamp, although hospital records have not yet been released. Brooke claimed to have had bruises on her arms during the live stream as she attempted to push past him and he held her too firmly. This just went from messy to people are questioning, why didn't she call the police? Why didn't she press charges that night? After the breakup to a full-on crime scene, Simple Brooke claims she was afraid when Jim threatened to ruin her. The crazy aspect is that she nearly believed him when he stated he had connections that could make her appear insane. This is what shattered people's hearts online because Brooke is always so calm and fire-tongue-ed. She claimed to have spent hours sitting in the hotel lavatory contemplating whether or not this was the end of her narrative. At one point, she wondered, if I scream too loud, will he snap? Brooke's sister later shared a narrative, claiming that she hadn't heard from her for a full day and was ready to file a missing persons report. But Brooke managed to get away just before she did. According to the story's true MVP, the housekeeper, the following morning, the same hotel employee has apparently been reassigned, whatever that means. Brooke raced past her barefoot, down 3 flights of stairs into the lobby and pleaded with the front desk to arrange a ride as the employee arrived to clean the room. Meanwhile, followers are becoming investigators. One TikTok user claimed to have seen Jim's SUV parked outside the same spot again, while another lady claimed to have traced down the hallway carpet pattern and matched it to a posh hotel in Vegas. They're circling like vultures right now. And there's even fresh rumors that a backup girlfriend was texting Jim that same evening to inquire when Brooke was going. Yes, screenshots of that came viral too. The message that was purportedly sent from Jim's cell is still dealing with the drama. She is not gone yet. She wasn't a package, Jim, that's a whole human being. Keep in mind, Jim still hasn't disputed anything, but according to an insider, Jim's lawyers are drafting a public statement portraying Brooke as unstable and obsessed, calling this a last-ditch effort to get his squad ready for Battle 1. Clout is a common response when a woman speaks up, but Brooke has another tactic up her sleeve. She claims to have screenshots of video clips, and yes, she does have audio. Yes, she captured a portion off their dispute while he wasn't paying attention to what she said. Specifically, that if they try to make me look crazy, I'll release everything. The question now is, will she? Because if that audio escapes, we might hear Jim's voice even for a brief moment. Not only is it a PR disaster, but it's also maybe jail time, kidnapping, assault, witness intimidation, and it's not just Brooke Bailey versus Jim Jones anymore. Brooke Bailey versus the entire fucking industry. You think it ends here? But no, because as of tonight, someone else has joined the chat group and claims to have seen everything and is prepared to discuss. According to Brooke, the quiet in that room wasn't just physical, it was psychological warfare, claiming that Jim Jones never touched her but had an unbreakable mental hold. He simply blocked the door, as if he were challenging me to try something, Brooke added, and his manner changed from his usual smooth-talking one, similar to something straight out of a crime thriller, cold calculating, and frighteningly composed. But what truly astounded people wasn't what Brooke said. Rather, it was what happened next, immediately following her breakdown interview. And anonymous, when a hotel employee sent a prominent gossip blogger a direct message, they uploaded an unsubstantiated, grainy snapshot of hotel surveillance footage that was timestamped, which caused people to pause and wonder who was standing there, outside at 2:47 a.m. on lovely 9/23. Brooke said she was detained for hours, and her voice had just returned when Jim Jones' hoodie pulled down, glanced in both directions, and vanished into the room. This disclosure caused social media to go crazy, and people called her insane. What is Jim going to do now? This isn't a publicity gimmick. Where is Chrissy in all of this? Oh, it's Chrissy Lumpkin, Jim's longtime companion on reality TV, and the one person fans believed would never be involved in this kind of problem. But things became worse after rumors circulated that Chrissy learned about it the same evening as the rest of us from the leaked video, as we use that term sparingly. One of Chrissy's close friends apparently called her and told her, "Girl, you better check what your man's doing at the Hilton before it hits TMZ." And when Chrissy, according to the footage sources, she went totally silent for 48 hours, while Jim was uploading silent Instagram stories and no cryptic messages. Silence, as they say, speaks louder than words. Confession, but let's not act as though this was an unexpected development. Jim's relationship with women, particularly strong women, has always been marked by red signals, ranging from arguments with co-stars to murky backroom business rumors. The man's representative hasn't quite there have always been rumors and miscommunications, but this is a physical imprisonment claim in a closed hotel suite, so no. You can merely publish an apology on Notes app and go on. When the voice note split, it was distorted but peaceful. I encouraged her to calm down, but she refused to say that she was afraid. I didn't touch her, I just needed to talk. Was that Jim? Some claim that the voice was manipulated, while others insist that it was his weary and frustrated attempt to explain something that was already spiraling out of control. The blogs went crazy, and fan pages began interpreting the background noise, even slowed down the video and asserted that you could hear a TV running an old Martin rerun in the background. They synchronized the episode's timing with the purported night of the incident, which may seem trivial, but the internet never sleeps. And when the smell of blood triggers full-blown shark mode. And in the meantime, Brooke disappeared. No Instagram stories, interviews, or podcast appearances, and her admirers became alarmed. Where is Brooke? Okay. Why isn't she saying anything? After the leak, some people assumed she had been silenced, while others believed her lawyers had finally intervened and instructed her to stop speaking. However, no one anticipated that a week later, Brooke would return, this time without tears in her eyes. However, wearing a full makeup blazer, I was seated across from a well-known YouTube journalist who was cool, composed, and prepared to reveal everything. I wasn't going to say anything more, so she started speaking quietly, but when everyone started accusing me of lying, I had told came the bombshell. Brooke claims that the night in the hotel wasn't a chance meeting, and that Jim had been preparing her for weeks with casual phone conversations posing as business calls. He assured me he valued my shea, believed it was a brand deal, a collaboration, an opportunity to make moves. But when she arrived at the hotel for what she believed to be a brief discussion in the lobby, Jim allegedly informed her the room was more. He responded in private, "We can talk without the noise, you know how people are." She claims that 4 hours of pressure, manipulation, and intimidation ensued. She did not accuse him of physical harm. Brooke's hands were shaking as he stated, "If you walk out that door, I promise you'll never get another call in this industry again." The threats were emotional, verbal, and indelible. She talked about how viewers realized this was more significant than Jim and Brooke, and that it was about how powerful men work behind closed doors. When she realized she was being cornered, not with fists but with power. Sponsors were withdrawing from Jim's side ventures, a big podcast canceled his interview, and the interview received 2 million views in a single day. The kind of manipulation that never makes news because it doesn't leave bruises. One brand even removed his image off their webpage overnight for his impending arrival. But what happened next was unexpected. The hotel manager, yes, the real Hilton hotel manager, sent a statement, not a press conference, not a tweet, a complete statement to the media, which verified that hotel security had addressed a noise complaint close to Suite 923 that same evening. They knocked, got no response, and left, but for the internet. That was all they had to say. Public opinion completely changed at that point, with many beginning to wonder if this was an innocent incident. Why Jim didn't speak up sooner? Why Chrissy didn't make a statement? And other serious questions. Why has everyone in Jim's team suddenly stopped talking as public pressure increased? Jim's attorneys ultimately took action, sending a cease and desist letter to Brooke's interview presenter requesting that they take down the video. Orphis legal action that backfired badly because following the threat, the interview footage, memes, recaps and reaction videos were reposted on all major blogs. And that's precisely where we take up in part 3, as litigation. According to reports, Chrissy packs her things and Brooke gets ready to take the case to court because if what she's saying is accurate, Jim Jones may face criminal penalties. In addition to canceled performances, was exploding with rumors. The hotel security team at last got an anonymous employee to contact a dubious Instagram blog and say the quiet part out loud. There's footage, we were told, while keeping their identity hidden. You're referring to the security tape that could demonstrate whether Brooke was indeed detained in that room for hours. The same film that Jim's attorneys allegedly asked be removed. According to sources, a front desk agent claims to have seen Brooke trembling and barefoot at 4 a.m. Despite the hotel management offering a $50,000 payout to clean up the mess, not everyone was ready to remain silent. He claimed she appeared to have recently gone through hell. Let's be clear, this is not simply celebrity drama. There is a serious criminal investigation underway, and if even half of what Brooke is saying is accurate, Jim will be facing accusations that garner international attention. But things get worse because, as Brooke was still processing the emotional fallout from that evening, a second woman came forward. No name, no face. Just a direct message sent by A within hours. The hashtag Jim Jones was trending on social media when the burner account posted, "Bruce not the only one he did it to. Me too. Same hotel, same pattern, different city. And influencers, YouTube T-channels and TikTok detectives were delving deeply into Jim's prior actions as if it were a true crime documentary. And they discovered more receipts than anybody could have anticipated for a 2018 podcast episode, where in one of his mixtapes, Jim jokingly talked about putting a female in his room until she chilled out a throwaway bar that said, "If she when I hit the lock on the door, she mine tonight." People laughed at that. They're no longer smiling. And as if the mayhem wasn't enough, guess who appeared out of nowhere? Mama Jones, Jim's own mother, appeared on Instagram Live in full defense mode, pointing fingers at Brooke. Wanted to scream, but instead of consoling Jim, Her tirade made matters worse. The screen read, "These females are always trying to trap my son." Brooke understood what it was. She had been pursuing him for years. The internet gasped when she labeled Brooke a bitter groupie and remarked, "If you lock her in a room, maybe she finally sits still." Jim's most recent music project was discreetly delayed and abandoned by its supporters. Industry insiders now claim that two significant brand deals, one involving sneakers and another involving a spirits campaign, have already been cancelled because they don't want their mark next to his name. However, this is where the tale takes a crazy turn that no one saw coming. Because Brooke Bailey filed a restraining order during all of this upheaval, and the documents were leaked. According to Brooke, Jim not only locked her in, but he also threatened her when she attempted to leave, saying, Jim's team responded forcefully, filing a suit denying everything, but the fans were shaken. "Leave now. You'll never work in this industry again." Coercion, intimidation, emotional abuse. They claimed that Brooke, a publicity-seeking reality TV relic who was milking past relationships to maintain her relevance, made up the tale for clout, and had every chance to quit. But if that's the case, why did Brooke share screenshots of one of the texts in her court petition said, "I'm sorry, I lost my temper, but I still love you." Another said, "Don't go public, you know how ugly it can get, it's already volcanic." Speaking of volcanoes, let's talk about that leaked text. Jim's voicemail, which was discovered yesterday night, purportedly recorded him shouting in the background, "You not going nowhere, you understand me, you ain't walking out that door." The district attorney's office is under pressure to launch an investigation as activists, including some former cast members, called for justice. The crying door slamming is grainy and unsubstantiated, but if it's true, it's damning. One anonymous VH1 producer even implied that we all knew things were wrong with them for years. And another insider says Jim attempted to prevent Brooke from returning for next seasons of the show. Love and Hip Hop have been subtly disparaging programs, supposedly out of fear that she would speak. Which leads us to this point when we are all asking the same urgent question: is Brooke telling the truth, or is this a case of love gone rotten? Did Jim truly hold her against her will? Our knowledge of this is limited to the fact that Brooke Bailey has gone silent, deactivated her Instagram account, shut down comments, and her silence says volumes. While Jim is doing what? In damage control mode. All celebrities share Jim photos, with cryptic captions like "they want to see me collapse, but I'm still standing." Adorable, but if it's your moment to speak now. You've heard the allegations, you've seen the consequences, and you've seen that he won't last long because the truth always finds a way to get past all the filters. Celebrity, and fancy automobiles. Sensed the tension behind each deleted post, leaked message, and dubious voice memo. This isn't just about Brooke and Jim anymore. It's about the industry-wide silence that silences the voices of women and men in positions of power. If Brooke Bailey, a powerful woman, nevertheless had to plead to be believed, what does it say about those who suffer in silence? Was this just another nasty breakup that went viral, or is this the breakthrough, beginning of a reckoning inside the inner circle of hip-hop? We'd like to know what you think. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think Brooke's story is credible, or is Jim being held accountable for something he didn't do? Also, please let us know if you enjoyed this in-depth though. Ensure you don't miss another explosive breakdown. Hit the subscribe button, slam the like icon, and ring the notification bell. Every week, we're breaking down the stories they don't want you to hear, because while others are providing you, this isn't just a channel, it's a movement, and we're only getting started. If you thought this was crazy, you won't be able to speak in the future, so stay tuned. We're bringing you the truth with fangs, because the truth always comes out in this game. Be careful, wise, and prepared. See you in the upcoming one.